Welcome to the MLM Solution Podcast Show, where you'll learn the facts and hear the truth about the network marketing industry. Here's your host, Rob Coody and Marie Cannon.
All right. Well, good morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, September 22nd, 2021. Happy Hump Day, everyone. For those of you joining me on the video, you've probably already been clued in. And for those on the podcast, may not be news, but I am Marie Cannon, and Mr. Rob Coody is still out. Looks like he will be out for the remainder of this week. He's needing some time away, so I am trying to cover on my own to the best of my ability. And as you probably experienced if you've joined me the past couple days, I'm just kind of roughing my way through this whole thing. Hopefully providing you some good information as we go along. Today we are in podcast number 256, zooming towards that podcast 300 that Rob is oh so incredibly excited about. I'm waiting to see what kind of fun and festivities he has planned for us, but we got a little ways before we get there yet. And it is podcast 256. Today we are going to be talking about who to sponsor and when. But before we do that, let me share with you one of our favorite promotional products that we have available on our website, which is themlmsolution.net. That's themlmsolution.net. It is our basic business building system that we reference a lot. It is called the 5 Simple Steps. And you can catch that on our website, or we have a site set up specifically for the 5 Simple Steps that you can also check out if you'd like. That is the number 5, 5simplesteps.net. So 5, the number, simplesteps.net will take you there, and it will show you the 5 simple steps that we always refer to as our business building system. It'll go into great detail for you on each of those steps. Step 1, developing leads. Step 2, delivering your message. Step 3, the 90-day mini blast. Step 4, finding and developing leaders. And then step 5, which is the CCBBA, consistent, correct business building activity. So dive into the details there. 5simplesteps.net is the site. 5 Simple Steps is the business building system. So go check that out. The other thing I want to make sure you're up to date on with us, of course, is our upcoming live event that we're preparing for. Don't know if that's going to be live in person, which is our preference, but with COVID, the Delta variant, travel restrictions, vaccine passports, all that other nonsense, we're not sure we're going to be able to pull that off and engage as many of you as we'd like to. So we may be looking at a live virtual event, getting together online. Not quite the same, but it is kind of the next best thing. And thank God for the technology that allows us to do that, right? So you can pre-register right now at mlmmastersacademy.com for notification as we make the decisions and decide what we're going to do. So you will be first to know what we're doing, where we're doing it, how we're doing it. Plus, if you are one of the first 100 people to register on that page, mlmmastersacademy.com, and attend the live event, you are going to get some very special VIP treatment, including special pricing, bonuses, and other surprises. Rob is super excited about what he's going to do for those top 100, as we're calling them. And yeah, I'm excited about it too. So check that out when you get a chance. Go there, register mlmmastersacademy.com, input your information. It'll take you all of 2 minutes, if that long. And yeah, definitely will be worth your while. And then, of course, as I mentioned, our website, themlmsolution.net, you can find past broadcasts, past podcasts that we've done together with Rob when both of us are together. There might even be a few of Rob on his own because I've been known to be out traveling and not available on occasion. So every once in a while, you get one or the other of us. Most of the time, it's both of us. And I think that's way more fun because this just talking on my own is really confusing. I get off track all the time. So I'm going to try to stay focused today and stick with it, but that's themlmsolution.net. And then all of our social media platforms, wherever you're hanging out social media wise, you can find us by using hashtag #TheMLMSolution. That's hashtag #TheMLMSolution. So check us out on your favorite social media platform. And while you're there, if you'll please like, comment, share across all those various social media platforms. And of course, you can find us on YouTube. If you go to our channel there, again, hashtag #TheMLMSolution on YouTube, you'll find us. You can register for notifications there. You click that little bell twice. Anytime we upload new content, go live, you'll be notified and be able to join us there. So exciting stuff. All right. Well, today we are talking about, we're in podcast number 256. We're talking about who to sponsor and when. And I have to tell you, I'm really disappointed that Rob's not here for this subject because I think this is one of those areas where he and I tend to go on different tracks a little bit. It's not necessarily that we disagree, but we've had slightly different experiences and we have a little bit different outlook on this topic in general, the who to sponsor and when. So if you are like most people, you've probably been introduced to the MLM industry, the network marketing industry, by a friend or a family member. It's typically somebody that you know, someone who's gotten engaged with a company. Typically, it's because they've come across a product. If it's a health and wellness thing, it's something that's really helped them feel better, perform better. If it's a cleaning type of thing, it's a healthier way to clean, a better way to clean. If it's, car wash, waterless car wash stuff, they're all about the environment. And this is a way to help combat climate change. And if you're out west and you're dealing with the drought, well, now you don't have to use water to wash your car. All the various products. Different products appeal to different people and they become passionate about it. And those people tend to get involved in the network marketing company, oftentimes as a distributor, because it gets them a discount. I've heard about this particularly in the essential oils arena. I know a lot of people who really like the products and want the discount that the distributor gets, not necessarily that they're interested in building the business, right? So everybody gets engaged in network marketing in different ways, but more often than not, it's through a friend or family member. And what do they teach others? It's the same thing. Go out and recruit your friends and family. Expose this to everybody. The product practically sells itself, right? So the who you're supposed to sponsor, if you follow the usual train of thought in the network marketing industry, is friends and family, because you want to leverage your network, the group of people that you know, the people around you. Now, the thing that we advocate for more often than not, and I'm pretty confident I can speak on behalf of Rob, at least on this point, is that we are looking for people who are already successful in whatever career they're in. And that could be school, it could be somebody in college who's, really dedicated and good at what they're doing, really passionate about it. And they put a lot of time and effort into it, focus, and they're very much focused on their success. So we have something that we follow called kind of the scale of ambition, and we'll rank people there kind of based on how they're living their life and what they're doing. Now, when it comes to friends and family members, they may or may not fall on that scale of ambition at a level that we really want for a business builder, right? There's a difference between recruiter and a business builder. And actually, that will be the topic of our podcast tomorrow. So I don't want to jump the gun there. We'll go into more detail about that difference tomorrow. But when you're going out and you're recruiting people, you're prospecting, you're looking for people that fall 5 or above on the scale of ambition. If that scale of ambition runs to 1, where a person's ambition level is really low, and they're, let's say it's your cousin's nephew who's living in his parents' basement, 35 years old, spends his day playing video games and eating Cheetos and isn't particularly motivated to do much of anything. That's pretty much the way he lives his life. I'd put somebody like that on the scale of ambition at like a 1. And scale of ambition, we're talking the 9, 10, the super ambitious end of the scale. You're talking about somebody that's self-motivated, a go-getter. Everything they do, they're all in 100%. They learn what they need to learn. They're coachable. They have mentors. They're interested in knowing how to be the best they can possibly be and become as successful as they can as quickly as they can. Now, that's going to be somebody that, for instance, is in a sales position. I mean, just a general sales position. It used to be the door-to-door vacuum cleaner salesman, right? I just throw it way back just for the example, but someone like that is really motivated because it's not easy to go knocking door to door every day and see if you can find somebody who's interested in a new vacuum cleaner and then be able to present the product to them and close the deal, so to speak. So you have people that you can see the difference and the difference. I think that's pretty intuitive. So one of the problems and one of the really discouraging aspects in the network marketing industry can be that focus on friends and family, because depending on where you've grown up, kind of the environment you've grown up in, your friends and family may be lower on the scale of ambition. They may just be of the mindset that, I'll just take whatever life gives me. I'll kind of follow the typical track. I'll go to school. I'll get a job. I'll get married. We'll have kids. And, you just kind of live your life. And there's no real motivation or gumption to improve upon it. So it's hard to convince those people that a career in a network marketing type of industry is going to work for them, because it really requires a lot of that self-motivation, that drive, that desire for something better. So if that's not already there and you're trying to sponsor those people, that's kind of the wrong who, right? You want to look for the people that are driven, have dreams, want to achieve different things. It could be they want to buy the newest Corvette. It could be that they want to buy a bigger house for their family. It could be that they just want more time freedom. They want to be able to spend the time at home with their kids rather than shuffling them off to daycare, having someone else take care of them 8 hours of the day when they're awake and active. And most of the time you're spending with them is when they're sleeping. Now, kids are cuter when they're sleeping, but they're not quite as fun. So that's just personal opinion. So you really have to think about where folks fall on that scale of ambition when you're recruiting your who's. So within the friends and family context, you may have those ambitious people. You may have those folks that will be driven to do it, but you may not. So then you need to go outside that scope a little bit more and find those folks that are looking for the same type of thing that appealed to you when you joined your network marketing company. And again, as we always talk about, that's more money, more time in the form of time freedom, and a better lifestyle. One of those 3 typically. And of course, the more money one is really fundamental, because having a larger income, having more money available to you gives you more options. It gives you more options in terms of how you spend your time with your time freedom. And it gives you more options in terms of the lifestyle that you live. And when I talk about living a lifestyle, it's things like a lot of people experienced in 2020 the fact that, oh, all of a sudden you could work from home. You weren't required to go in. If you could work on your computer and do Zoom conference calls and those types of things all day long, you could work from home. And some people, quite a few actually, statistically, they decided that, hey, well, if I can work from quote unquote home, it just really requires an internet connection that could be anywhere. So a lot of people started making lifestyle choices. And I think you've seen that reflected in the real estate industry, where a lot of people have moved out of urban centers, the cities, and moved out to more rural areas, out to the country, where they could have more space to, do a little bit of the social distancing a little bit more easily. And just to get out of the hustle and bustle, get away from the congestion, get away from the pollution, get away from, the dirtiness of some cities, I guess. So it created options for people. People discovered those options. Now, depending on what they're doing career-wise, that may or may not have been practical, but it is something, that we've seen. So I think there is an element of people looking for a different kind of lifestyle that their current job, their current, career that they're in maybe doesn't afford them the possibility to do. So the network marketing industry may be appealing to them. So some networking companies, when you start with them, depending on how you've joined the organization, again, they're like, sign up any warm body you possibly can. And you got to be a little bit careful. A lot of it's going to be driven by the style of the compensation plan, depending on where the payment is made. Are you earning more in terms of pure volume that you're moving, or are you getting large bonuses on the sign up end where you're bringing in new distributors? So that can be a bit of a driver on who you sponsor as well. Some people aren't as selective when the compensation plan rewards the signing up of new individuals into the business model. Now, in the past, and I haven't heard of it recently, but back in the 80s, when I got started, it wasn't unusual to hear about people recruiting pets in their home to be distributors because it helped bump them to the next pin rank, or it made their check that much larger. So all of a sudden you've got, Spot the dog having a spot in the sales organization, and he would get mailings and put him on an auto ship, and he's getting product. I'm not sure what Spot does with some of that product, but they're just games that some people will play in terms of who they sponsor or how they sponsor people to leverage the compensation plan. So you've got to be a little bit aware of how your compensation plan is structured and where that income is really being generated from when it comes to your sponsorship. And then, of course, who you sponsor may also depend on who's joining with them potentially. Because if you have some people that have network marketing experience, if they're, for instance, moving from a company that has perhaps closed, or they maxed out their compensation plan, or for some other reason they're needing to make a change, you may find them coming in with a group of people that they want to bring with them. So again, that has to do with the experience and the drive, and just where they fall on that scale of ambition, how you bring them into the organization. And I apologize. This is where I start going off the rails a little bit, talking to myself, and also getting the cotton mouth thing from talking so much, because I'm used to much more interaction with Rob. If you've noticed in previous episodes, we're a little bit more like the NFL football announcers. Rob typically does the play-by-play with all the details, and I throw in some color commentary with stories and things like that. So, But the other thing to think about too is obviously when you first join a network marketing company, you almost want to sponsor anyone who's interested in coming into the business. And for me, this is a timing issue. When I first started in network marketing, first couple companies I was with, anybody with a pulse that was interested that said yes, they wanted to sign up, I signed them up. And I would try to work with them because I didn't necessarily understand how the business was built and how it worked, and the fact that you really need to wait for people to kind of raise their hand and say they're going to engage, and then you spend your time with them. So I'm still very much not opposed to bringing anyone into a sales organization who's interested in joining. But what I would do now, based on the experience that I've had, especially with people coming into the network marketing industry for the first time, is you definitely want to set them up for success. So you'll sign them up, you'll give them your business building system that you have. If you're following ours, it's the 5 simple steps that they're going to follow, and you provide them with the resources they need to be successful. And by that, I mean you're going to give them all the reference material they need, show them how to use their back office, show them what the network marketing company has made available to them in terms of tools and training, product information, information on the compensation plan, all those types of things. You give them those materials so they can learn it and look into it on their own. I would no longer spend the time trying to explain all these things to them, thinking that, well, I'm coaching and mentoring them, and this is what I need to do to help them be successful, because they need to understand all these things. Yes, they need to understand all these things, but I don't have to be the one to explain it to them. I can actually use the tools and resources, give it to them, allow them to start going through it, and then do follow-ups with them and answer any more questions they may have. Something they may not have been able to figure out from the materials provided, or other questions that just came up as a result of looking at them. And again, if the questions can be answered by the materials, I'll refer them back to those training materials, the tools, the back office, wherever it is that they can find that information. Because again, you have to remember the business is all about duplication, right? So if I'm going to spend 3 days training someone up on the products, the business, the back office, the whole shebang, they're going to think that's exactly what they need to do. So every new person they bring into the business, they're going to spend 3 days getting them up to speed. And sometimes you're going to find out after you've brought them up to speed and invested that 3 days of time, they disappear, or they don't do anything, or they do a little bit and they get discouraged and they fall off. And then it's not a good use of your time. So you want to use the tools and materials you have available to bring them in. So from that perspective, it's kind of a long-winded way to get to my point of, I would still be inclined to bring anyone into the business who's interested, but I am going to set them up with those materials and see what they do. Rather than what they say they're going to do, I want to see how they react. Are they going to start reaching out to potential prospects? Are they going to start using that music to the ears message to see who they can attract into their business? Are they going to take the initiative and spend the time, dedicate the time that's needed, and put in the effort to start building their business? And then as they do, which will become apparent as I monitor my own back office and look at the volume coming through, looking at any pin rank advancement that may be happening, then I can see how engaged they are and whether or not it warrants me focusing more time with them. Does that make sense? I think so. I hope that makes sense. You want them to give some indication that they are engaged and they're going to do what they say they're going to do, right? Before you invest a lot of time with them. That way, you can focus your time on continuing to bring other people into the business and then working with the people who are starting to pop up and self-identify as potential leaders in your organization. So, from that perspective, early on in the business, that is what I would do. As I'm building my business and my business is starting to mature and I have more leaders in my business, as I'm recruiting other people, I may be a little bit more selective about who I will actually bring into my business and work with, period. Simply because after you've been in it for a period of time, you have leaders identified that you're working with, you have a sales organization that you're supporting, you're doing some training and conference calls, you may be doing live events, you're driving towards the company-led network marketing events and those types of things. Your time starts becoming that much more precious. And as that happens, and what I found myself doing as I progressed in my network marketing career, is I would not take on just anyone in my sales organization. As a matter of fact, once I hit a certain level and I was busy, friends and family members who perhaps I would have approached early on, or maybe who were just watching what I was doing, who decided they wanted to get engaged with me, I don't always like to mix business and family that much. That can be a little bit sticky. Works well for some people, other people not so much. For me, yeah, I wanted to keep a little bit of distance when it came to close friends and family members anyway. So what I found myself doing, because I had an organization and I was busy, I would tell them, that's great. I would love to see you be part of this industry, part of this particular network marketing company. I think you could do really well at it. I am no longer in a position where I can support new people coming in as well as I did in the past. And I don't want you to get discouraged because of that lack of support potentially coming from me. So what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you join with Michelle over here in my organization, who's got a great team going. She's building. She'll be able to help you learn everything you need to know, bring you up to speed, and get you going. You're still part of my organization. Ultimately, I'm still here. You know, if Michelle isn't able to help you in the same way, or there's something missing and I need to step in, I can still help out. But, you know, you'll be working more closely with Michelle. So that's the way I would handle that. And it wasn't even necessarily with close friends and family that I wanted to keep at a distance. It may have been anyone new coming in. And again, this depends on your compensation plan, because some compensation plans, after you sponsor directly so many people, sponsoring more people beyond that directly really serves no benefit to you at all in terms of your compensation plan. So when that's the case, that may be a good time to allow someone else to actually, quote unquote, directly sponsor those people, even though they're in your organization. So again, it's hard to go into all the details when it comes to that, because every compensation plan is a little bit different. But that does, again, highlight the importance of making sure you understand your compensation plan and understanding where you hit those income ceilings when it comes to your recruiting and prospecting efforts. Because some places you can, there'll be a cap, like you have 10 people that you can directly sponsor, and then they have to be placed under other people. So you want to be selective about who you're specifically sponsoring in some cases. So, all right. Well, hopefully that has helped eliminate some of the information as far as sponsoring folks and when, in terms of where you are in your career with that. So tomorrow, Thursday's episode, we are going to be talking about recruiter versus business builder. We're going to dive a little bit deeper on that. I touched on that briefly here. I know we've touched on it in the past, but we haven't gone and done a deep dive talking about recruiter versus business builder. So we will be doing that tomorrow. I hope you will join me again, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We're always here on all the social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, all the happy stuff. And once again, just so you know ahead of time, Rob will be out the remainder of the week. So we'll look forward to having him back on Monday. Hope you have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Time.
Thanks for listening to today's podcast. Download our podcast on SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, and other podcast platforms. Visit our website at www.themlmsolution.net for additional important information, show details, and past shows. Follow us on Parler, Rumble, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Please hit the like button, the subscribe button, or the get notified button while visiting our other social media platforms.